Hey, transformative leaders and trauma survivors, it's sophilialarkwoodbury of thehappymedium.com. If someone you love is in a toxic relationship and you just can't for the life of you understand why they just won't leave, trauma bonding could be the culprit. This video is going to share with you how to recognize the signs and provide some resources to help you navigate and understand that much better. For the best trauma recovery tips, tools, and strategies, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you'll never miss a video when I upload new content every Wednesday. Welcome back, everyone. If you're new here, I am a licensed professional counselor, a trauma recovery coach, and a certified clinical trauma specialist, helping individuals and organizations resolve the effects of trauma and build resilience. So what is trauma bonding? Well, a form of Stockholm syndrome. Trauma bonding is a psychological condition, or more aptly put, a survival strategy where a victim who is trapped in a cycle of abuse or a hostage situation forms a strong or powerful emotional attachment to the abuser or to the captor. Now, Stockholm syndrome came from a 1973 event in Stockholm, Sweden, where people robbed a bank, and the hostages over the course of 6 days ended up forming a strong emotional attachment to the bank robbers. So that's where that concept comes from. Now, Stockholm syndrome is probably more aligned with a kidnapping, captivity, or a hostage situation, where trauma bonding is more aligned with a sort of a more prolonged relationship between at least two people. So intimate partner situation obviously is probably the first one that comes to mind. And then also a parent-child dyad, or you can even see in some cases a spiritual leader and a junior member of church staff or a faith-based organization or a congregant. So you can see that situation in multiple, manifestations, but the concept is pretty much the same. There's generally a power imbalance where a person in authority is, influencing this behavior of trauma bonding. Why does a trauma bond form? Why does the person not just sit there and refuse to comply, or why don't they fight back? Well, research suggests that there is a powerful combination of a few things that influences a person to bond positively with the abuser. Things like abusive control dynamics. So maybe the abuser constantly threatens the life of the victim, humiliates the victim, isolates the victim, surveils, they have surveillance, they're keeping tabs on what they're doing. And so it's that in connection with exploitative tactics, power imbalances, where obviously there's a person in a position of authority and there's a person in a perceived position of inferiority. And so demands made by the person in a superior position influences the person to such a degree to comply with the demands, otherwise they may be harmed or killed. And then also that may be combined with intermittent rewards. So the abuser might actually show some positive qualities, a flash of humanity, if you will. And this in turn leads to the victim perceiving themselves in a distorted way in relation to the abuser. So it is the attachment is actually a product of the abuser's influential tactics, along with the victim's desperation not to die or to be further harmed. So how do you tell if someone is trauma bonded? Well, there are some things that you can use to tell that the person might be in an strong emotional relationship with the person who's abusing them. The victim might have positive feelings toward the abuser. As we talked about a couple of minutes ago, where, the abuser may show some positive qualities, like they're a good joker, or, that kind of thing. Or maybe they are expressing some regret for how they're behaving. The victim may also have negative feelings or aggressiveness toward people who are trying to help them leave the abuser. or maybe the victim has given up their own identity, their own interests, and adopted the perspective of the abuser. In a lot of cases, the abusee is a woman and the abuser is a man. That's not always the case, obviously we know that, but maybe let's say the woman who's been abused, she was Miss Independent, you know, she was singing that Beyonce song, and you know, if you ain't put no ring on it, you ain't got nothing for me, or however that song goes. And now she's just like, you know, wherever you go, I go, whatever you do, I do. Your life is my life. And you're like, who on earth is this? This is not Miss Independent. This is somebody else. And so that could be the case. Or maybe the victim is making excuses for the abuser, feel sorry for the abuser. She may say that, you know, the abuser he's a victim too. You know, you don't know how hard his life was when he was a kid, and you know, they're taking on that responsibility. Maybe they're unwilling to leave the abuser when they have opportunity to do so, unwilling to detach from them and start the healing process. They're disloyal to themselves more than they are to the abuser. Or they may engage in fawning or people-pleasing behaviors where they may be trying to convince the abuser that they're not a bad person. You're not a bad person. You know, we don't need to live like this. Maybe we can, you know, you're a good person, I'm a good person. We can find a different way to live. And you know, a lot of times that's how you can tell that a person is trauma bonded. So do you recognize some of these signs in the lives of your loved ones? Or maybe you recognize some of these signs in your own life. If you do, let me know in the comments below. So those are some of the ways that you can recognize the signs of trauma bonding. And if you want to break the cycle of trauma bonding in your life or in the lives of your loved ones, be sure to grab the resources that I have linked in the description on trauma bonding. And to continue to navigate your journey through complex PTSD, be sure to grab my Body Awareness Mind Body Guide and other helpful resources in the description below. If you're interested in joining a tight-knit group of survivors, healers, and leaders, I've created a Facebook group where I share the latest advice on healing the effects of trauma and building resilience. You can click the link below to join. Okay, well that will do it for today. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. If you liked this video, hit the like button below, share with your friends, drop a comment to let me know how this has been helpful for you. Did you learn anything new? And if you are ready to take the dive into healing the trauma bond and resolving the effects of trauma altogether. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you'll be the first to know when I upload new content every single Wednesday. Thank you for joining me today, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.